Hi everybody, welcome back. My name's Nicholas. Today we're going to do a garden tour, and I believe it's the first one of this year that I can think of. I wanted to make sure that everything was fresh and clean and new and just nice looking for you. I still have a lot to do. Barely any mulch has been laid, but it's a good time because we're supposed to have a storm tonight, and I don't want to have a repeat of when Janie came to my house. The OGs will know that story, but so right now we are starting in the raised bed area that's directly in front of my greenhouse, and these beds have been here since the greenhouse was built, but up until recently they have had grass in between them, and I have been wanting to add gravel to this area just to make it easier to maintain, because you can't fit a riding lawnmower in between these beds. So now it's going to be easy. When all is said and done, there will be a square around it so that the gravel comes up out about, I don't know, about maybe 2 feet or so that it'll be even that much more easy to take care of. So let's go to the greenhouse. It's empty, minus 2 plants. There's a house plant and a jasmine, and the jasmine is not hardy in my area, but I want to try to keep it going, so I think I'm going to try to grow it in my greenhouse permanently. We'll see how that works, but I hope it works. So follow me. This is another one of the new areas that we did. I have been wanting to make a very large flower bed in front of the greenhouse since the beginning, but I just didn't know how I wanted it to look totally, because at the beginning of this year I put in this big huge gravel area for the raised beds, and because it's so square, I didn't know how I would connect the gravel area to a flower bed, and I didn't want to make it a big square on that side because I felt like it would be too boxy. So this is what we came up with, and I'm in love. But let me show you the greenhouse real quick. Before we go in there, these are, I believe, Claire Austin, if that's a rose. They're David Austin rose, and they're just now opening up, and they're beautiful. So this is the greenhouse now with nothing in it besides 2 plants. I still will be doing my big decorating in here, but I'm just not quite ready for that yet. I'm not trying to set up a store. I just was trying to take inventory of what I actually have. But this is the jasmine plant that I'm thinking, hopefully, I know I need to put it in a bigger pot, but I'm thinking if I put it in a massive pot here, that I'll be able to hopefully like grow it in the greenhouse. That's the plan. I don't know if that plan will work, but I am a very experimental gardener. I am not afraid to fail. And I know that some people are a lot more conservative with their gardening, but that's just not who I am. So even if I spend money and I lose money, I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't, because I just want to try things. That's all. So we're going to take a turn. We're going to go to the new entrance for the secret garden, take a walk through there, and you guys are going to love it. And I'll tell you about one of my plans for the secret garden, hopefully happening pretty soon. Here's the new entrance. It's behind this fence panel thingy that I got. It's a trellis. That's what I got it for. So it's hidden, and I think that I was having such a hard time figuring out where I wanted the entrance to the secret garden to go, and it just hit me one day, and I feel like this makes a lot of sense. I laid the new walkway for the cats, although no cats come here anymore, but it'll be nice for when they do. And then I also did the paver pathway just in that flower bed so that it's easier to get back to the potting area that I've never used as a potting area, but one day I will. And here it is. So there's a few more things that I still need to do this season for sure with the secret garden. One is the fence that's going to go along the whole back so that it covers the neighbor's menagerie of stuff. That's number one. Number two is I would like to hang garden string lights in the trees so that it just is like lit up from in here. And then number three is I want new furniture. I love the picnic table, but I really want to make an area that it's like a conversation set where there's like 2 chairs, maybe some ottomans, so that I could sit down and do like Q&A type videos for you guys. That's my plan. So stick around because that will be coming soon. But I just have to figure out which furniture, like what furniture I want. I have an idea, but nothing that I've seen so far is like perfectly what I'm looking for. So let's continue through the secret garden. We have a lot more area to plant up. I would imagine that because this fence is going to be here, that I'm going to try to see if I can do some tall things. It'll have to be quite narrow, but there's all kinds of plants out there, so I'm sure there's something for me. And then once this table is gone, I think maneuvering around it will be a lot easier, because I would imagine that it'll just be more narrow and give you more walking room. Aren't these beautiful, you guys? These are transplant ferns that my mom, well, it was my mom's boss, gave me. And she gave me a bunch of them. And they just like, when it's windy and they just like blow a little bit, it's like so pretty. But I do have some annuals back here, some coleus, and some critters that like to nibble on my things. And then the secret garden pathway continues around and it comes out in the raised bed area. So now you're looking at the back side of the raised bed area. This is like my project area, so don't judge me. I have so many things in waiting so that I can show you guys like projects and stuff. So you're getting a sneak peek. But this is my baby. I think this might be one of my favorite things that I've actually purchased this year so far. And I hope that it does well. If it ends up being too much sun over here, I have another idea for where it can go. But I think it's actually going to do really well here. But only time will tell. As you make your way through the trellis area, these are Vigo garden beds, Vigo garden trellis that they sent me. I grew sweet peas on them. It's my first time ever growing sweet peas. There's several different kinds, and I have my first bloom, you guys, and it smells so good. So that's one of many that I'm sure will be popping up. Yeah, see, they're starting to make their pods, so we'll have plenty more soon. And I don't know if you guys can imagine it, but I don't think that they'll go all the way up, but can you imagine just walking through here with all of them blooming? Like, oh, that's going to be so great. And then it takes us out to where we kind of were before. This is, I would say, like my vegetable production area. I have a bunch of tomatoes, cucumbers, that's actually it right here, but I have other vegetables that I have a plan for. I really need to do that soon because, well, they just need to start growing. And then this is another project area. A lot of stuff that I grew in the greenhouse. Actually, most of it I grew in the greenhouse, minus some of these Proven Winners plants and some vegetables, but look at this, you guys. This is the 20, I think, peach. Well, I have a tag right here. Yeah, 20 peach snapdragon. that's like absolutely perfect. Then I have 20 apple blossom right here. It's like the, I don't know, like a champagne white with some pink. This is another one, a cool one. This is a Gomfrina. It's a new one that Swallowtail Gardens had this year for sale, their seeds. And I believe it's, at least from what I can see, gonna probably look like the Truffula Pink Gomfrina from Proven Winners. But anyway, so that's this area. Let's make our way up to the back of the house. This area is one of my project areas. I have a hedge of hydrangeas here. It's a mixture of quickfire fabs and pinky winkies. And I'm trying to do like a living fence right here. So all of these areas that you see along the border of my property, where there's like dots around the plants, that's not the end goal. My end goal is to have a flower bed the whole length of my property, from the front of the house to the back of the house and along the front. I'll show that to you. And it'll be like a mixed border of shrubs, perennials, things like that. But this is the first step. So it's just been taking me a little while to get to this part, because there's a lot of lifting sod and just a lot of work. So it'll come, but it's just coming slower than I'd anticipated. To show you guys that I'm a real gardener, I have so many weeds. This area I haven't even looked at this area yet this year, but there's grass, there's trees, there's no mulch. So it's a work in progress, but I guess we always have to, we need something to do, right? Do you see the perfect structure of this hydrangea right here? This is why this is my favorite hydrangea. This is a quickfire fab, and it is perfectly round. And when it blooms, it will have blooms from the base to the top in a full circle. And they actually bloom earlier, I believe, than other ones. So you get your color earlier in the season, but then they still last through fall like all the other ones. And here I had a butterfly bush that is not doing well. So I have a plant to replace that. We had a bad butterfly bush year or winter. I had 3 die. Mom had several die. Sorry, I don't know what that sound was. So sometimes you have that, but I do have quite a few that came back. And then this view right here is my favorite view of the back patio, because I feel like it shows you the shapes of the beds, the plants that I have, and I just think it's really pretty. If we want to just take a quick look, this is like the pool deck. I have some Mystica penstemon, some beautiful foxgloves that are like the most beautiful peachy apricot color. This is my biggest hosta that I have on my property, and I know things are smushed. I have plans to move things and make things smaller, but it is what it is right now. But that hosta, by the end of the season, it like competes with the height of this boxwood. It's quite impressive. And this is the Boom Chocolata geranium from Proven Winners. It sat here all last year and did nothing. And then this year, it's just looking so pretty. Over here is one of my most beautiful roses that I have. And you guys are gonna kill me. I'll try to look and I'll try to find it, but I don't remember what it's called. It is a David Austin, but I just don't remember what type it is. But if you look behind this grouping at that newest fresh, look how pretty that is. And there's buds pretty much everywhere. It's gonna be, oh no, that's what happens. But I think it smells like baby powder. Mom said it smells like a rose, but that's not an explanation of what it smells like. I think it smells like baby powder. It smells really good. And then this is a delphinium that I grew in my greenhouse. It's like its second or third year in the garden right now. And it's really pretty. That blue is beautiful. This flower bed needs a lot of work. I'll get there. This area is relatively new. This is the only area that's actually been mulched, but I wanted to show you guys one of my favorite plants, period. It's in my top fives. So this is goat's beard or aruncus, and I just think it's very wispy and it's just beautiful. So that's in my top five, and then astilbe is also in my top five, and we're just shy of like the astilbes looking beautiful. I probably should have held off for like another week to do this tour, but oh well. This is I believe it's like I think it's called a profusion crabapple. It's the second full year that it's been in the garden, and it's looking beautiful. And I have a ring of Gara around it, and I believe this is the whirling butterflies, and it's just now starting to bloom. And I know that it looks tall for the height of the tree, but once the tree gets higher and it's limbed up a little bit more, I think that having this ring of like white fluffy stuff underneath will be really pretty. And it'll be hard to see, I think, but here's an astilbe back here. You don't have to like get close, but it's just one of my favorite plants because it's just so fluffy. And then there's a grouping of goat's beard over there that I really, really like. And just to let everyone know who's watching, I get comments a lot about like, sun things, right? Like, oh, stuff's gonna burn or stuff like that. But I just want to show you, and this is proof, that in my area, we can get away with a lot. Like I have shade plants and full sun plants in the same flower bed, and they all do equally well, just so you guys know. Yeah, there's just a menagerie of plants in this bed. There's some hostas or some hydrangeas along the back. I know that one is called White Wedding, and I don't remember what the other ones are called. Quite a number of hostas. Almost every single hosta in this bed was a transplant. The neighbor at the very end of my street took all of their hostas from the front of their house out, and they had them sitting on the curb to get thrown away. So I gobbled them up, and I divided them and planted them in my garden, and they are like exploding this year. I forgot to show you guys my favorite hosta, but when we get to the back to the greenhouse again, because that's where we'll end up, I'll show you my favorite one. Mom says this is her favorite, but I don't know the name. Sorry. I just started doing videos for YouTube last July, so we're almost at a year. And I've been gardening in this garden since, well, the beginning of 2021. I started the greenhouse in the fall of 2020, but I didn't really do much that year. So a lot of this stuff that's established, I don't know what it is, and I didn't keep tags, and because I wasn't thinking that I'd have to share that information with all of you. So, but anything that I've planted starting July of last year till now, I keep the tags of almost everything, unless it's something that I plant quite regularly and I know the name of. This is the coziest, like most comfortable area of my back patio, because there's an overhang with a shade cloth over the top. And so it's just really comfortable, and there's a fan, But I just recently planted a bunch of these containers, so they look, well, they're not impressive right now, but they sure will be later on. And there's still work I need to do. I have some violas in some of these containers that I need to get rid of, but it'll come with time. So the people that know me personally, this would not be a surprise to them. But I did a video where I got this whole back area done, and I laid down some rugs that I got on Amazon, and I absolutely hated them. But you guys were so sweet, and you were saying, oh, they look fine, they look fine. I couldn't do it. So I had to get new rugs that I think match the area better. And the reason why I was stressing was because I wanted it to match the pillows, the rug to match the pillows. So you have that like creamy color and the jute around the edge. And the other rugs that I had, they were black and jute colored, and it just was throwing everything off. It just was not looking good to me. I want to prove one more point real quick. At my greenhouse, I did 2 hanging pots that I wanted to do Pegasus begonias in, and I put some lemon coral sedum around the outside. And I had some comments in that video saying Pegasus begonias are not going to do well in hanging baskets. Well, you guys, I had a Pegasus begonia in this last year and this year, and it was so pretty, in fact, that I didn't know this, but my mom, she actually, since last year, was trying to find a cone planter or hanging basket so that she could repeat the same thing. It's like, later on, I'll show you guys, you're gonna die. It's so pretty. This is one of the plants that Corey sent me, Corey with Up North Garden. It's a petunia, and I believe it's called like Cascadius Hot Pink or something like that. I don't know that you guys see it, but it absolutely glows because you have the outside, which is like a very hot pink color, followed by a lighter pink that turns into like a white that turns into a very yellow down the throat. And it just like literally glows. And it looks beautiful now. And I can't imagine what it's going to look like when it probably takes over this table, but it'll be pretty. In this flower bed is my favorite hydrangea tree that I have. It's the Phantom. It's a beautiful, beautiful hydrangea tree, and you guys will see. It's beautiful. And look at this delphinium. I grew this in my greenhouse as well. Look at the colors on there, all the different colors that there are. Like lavenders, blues. Oh, so pretty. These are containers that I had last year, and I just left the sedum in them. I think they're going to look pretty, but these ones down here are new. And as you can see, critters are trying to dig the soil out, but this one is the Hoopla Vivid Orchid, and I'm really excited to see what it looks like when it's full grown. I still have violas in these boxwood pots. They'll come out, but there's only so many hours in a day, you guys, and I'm only one person. I do get help sometimes. Mom helps me, my uncle helps me, my aunt will help me sometimes, but it's just a lot, especially when you have another job. I work at a hospital, so. Another thing while we're in this area, this has been one of my favorite plants in my garden because I started it in the greenhouse last year. It's called Pretty Betsy Jupiter's Beard, and it has been blooming for, I don't know, like a month and a half or more. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm really happy to have it. And tell me why, you guys. Why is one of my geraniums looking scarlet red? You guys know I don't do that. So what is this? If I find out that all of these geraniums in this bed are red again, just like what happened last year, I'm ripping them out. Now we're making our way around the side of the house, which is the west side of the house. well, it's the west side in general, but I have an incredible hydrangea, and it's just about to do its thing, and it's huge. I'm gonna have to start moving stuff out of its way, which is fine. I don't mind transplanting. You guys know I don't. But this bed, when I first started, I had a lot of annuals in it, and I remember one year I did like zinnias along the whole side, and it was very pretty. But I've been upping my perennial game, and so I have like different phlox. There's a butterfly bush, a Niagara Falls panicum, some salvia, some more phlox. You'll probably notice in this bed specifically that I really love tall garden phlox. It's one of my favorite plants, honest, probably in my top 5. So there's 3 of my top 5. Let's see if we can figure out what the other 2 are. I do have some clematis just starting to fill up the space. And this, well, I don't know that, let me see if I can find a good bloom for you, but this is my favorite rose that I have in my garden. I guess we can show this little one. This is the Bathsheba climbing rose. It's a David Austin as well. It's very like peachy, apricot-y. It's just really, really pretty. But the bed's starting to fill in. I have, like I said, a bunch of tall garden phlox, leotris, butterfly bushes, echinaceas, a caryopteris that smells absolutely delicious, a huge weed, plumbago, which is a ground cover that looks absolutely beautiful later on in the year. Another weed that I'll pull later because it's the kind that pokes you and hurts. This area over here, I'm very excited about because of one plant in particular. And it is the
crickets.
What's it called? Hold on 1 minute. I literally had to look it up because I couldn't remember. It's the El Nino Chatulpa, and I bought it in a little teeny tiny container last year from Creekside Nursery online, and I put it in late fall, and it's a zone 6 and I'm a zone 6, and a lot of the times stuff like that doesn't come back because if we have like a harsh cold snap, it'll kill those things. But it came back, and here it is right here. It's small, but it's coming, and apparently they smell really good, so I'm so excited to see what it smells like. And I have another rose in this bed, and I actually remember what it's called. So this is the Bosco Bell. Look how full that is. So that's an older bloom, and then this is a newer one. So it has like pinks and yellows, like in a mixture, and the yellow is closer to the bottom of the petal, so it like looks like it's glowing from within. This bed, I'll try to see if I can flash a picture to you guys. Not last year, but the year before, used to be full of Shasta daisies and like rudbeckias, I believe, and that's all that was in here, and this hardy geranium. And I had a mission last year with Mom's help to carve out spaces in here so that I could fill it with other things. So now in this bed, it's going to be a riot of color. There's sea holly, I believe. No. I can't remember what it's called, but it's one of my mom's favorites that I grew in the greenhouse. There are irises, coneflowers, gladiolas, a lot of like this hardy geranium. Here's an iris right here. I believe it's a Dutch iris. And then there's another one over here that's a beautiful purple, like purple and yellow. So this is one of the areas where the dotted plants, it's going to make more sense when I get it all done. So this is the very corner of the front of my property. So what I'm going to do is there's going to be a triangle flower bed, and then this is going to be like the border plants, and then it's going to be one long flower bed all the way to the back of the house with a mixture of shrubs and perennials. But this is a royal smoke bush, and it's just about to do its little smoky plumes. This color is so pretty, so pretty. It's like the deepest, like almost iridescent purple maroon. I have a wisteria that's never going to bloom. This thing was, when I planted it, it looked like this. And that's not even a joke. I bought it on Etsy, I think. And now it's, well, what it is. And it's kind of a shrub or kind of a tree. But I just need to make a really big flower bed around it so it's easier to take care of the grass. And then this is the new Genfis juniper that I planted this year. This will end up being a very large tree, but we need to get some perennials to go in the empty spaces. I have a butterfly bush that I thought died, and I cut it all the way back to the ground and it came back. This is one of my favorite shrubs in my garden. This is the black lace elderberry. Look at those blooms. How could you not want that? Little discs of pink and white, and it's growing so well. I can't wait to see how big it actually gets. But I need to make this circle bigger too because it's hard to mow. This is my hedge of limelight hydrangeas. It's probably my least favorite hydrangea that I have in my garden, to be honest with you. I think I have around, let's just say around 60 hydrangeas in my garden. And I'll do a garden tour later on this summer when they're in full bloom so you guys can see how many there are. But out of all of them, I would say that these are probably my least favorite, just because they're very scarce around the bottom as far as blooms and leaves. And I just don't know. They just don't, I don't know. They're okay. And then I have some sad news for you all. My weeping Alaskan cedar is dying. So I just planted it in April. So I'm going to reach out to the company. I know that some people feel very strongly about warranties on plants, but in my eyes, spending, well, I'll be honest with you, almost $300 on a tree. I just would expect it to last more than a couple months. And this is my favorite hydrangea, but my favorite hedge of my hydrangeas too, because these are the quick fire fabs, and look, they're about to bloom. And then these are transplant peonies from a neighbor, looking beautiful. So this hedge is, it's like hydrangea peony, all the way down. And then I do have a viburnum that's bloomed out. But here's another peony. This was one that I bought at a store, and it's almost done. You can see the tips are burning. I mean, there's new buds, but this area is starting to do what I intended. So I put geraniums in here. We did a hedge of nepeta. The nepeta is going to need to be sheared back soon so that it can reflush, but it's getting pretty. Like the astilbe is about to bloom. The geraniums are starting to bloom. The nepeta still has color. My hydrangeas, these are the, I believe it's the mini mauvettes. they're like a beautiful mauve color. Up here, it's going to be very pretty. My first Japanese maple I ever got, this one is the Tamakayama, I believe. This one is more of like a weeping, has a weeping habit, I believe, but it's still looking absolutely beautiful. I do have some snapdragons back there that have little polka dots in them. I have some grasses that will cover the hose reel. And then this makes me happy to see, but the cone boxwood that we put in is putting on new growth, so it likes its area. I have yet to do the whole like flower scheme on my front porch, but it's looking fine until I get that done. There is one arrangement back there that my aunt picked out. She picked out all the plants in it. They're doing okay. Some of them are in between color right now, but they're fine. And then this is my hedge of Bobo hydrangeas. Let me tell you what, when these are in bloom, it almost is like they lift up the front porch, like, because it's just a beautiful white bloom hedge, and then the porch is behind it. So pretty. These are the new boxes that my uncle made. My mom and I painted them. I filled them with soil, put a bunch of plants in them. So they have the Supertunia Royal Velvet, and they have the Superbena Sparkling Rosé. I do have some geraniums that I grew in the greenhouse. It's a spent bloom, but this is the Bullseye Salmon. And then it's like really filling in, and there's like a bunch of branches, but this is the Cybella Carmine Silene. And then there's one directly on the other side of the driveway. We'll look at it when we get out to the end of the road. Both of these hydrangeas were new last year. This is the Limelight Prime. I wanted to give it a shot, see if I like it better than the actual Limelight. And then this is, I believe it's a quick fire standard, which means tree. And it is so far along. Like, I mean, it's literally like, I don't know, a couple of days away from looking like it's blooming. That is so mind-boggling to me. I didn't think it would be that far ahead. In this flower bed near the mailbox, I have the Mystica penstemon, and then there's a Coreopsis, and then there is a Shasta daisy in the front that's like a very full double petal. So when these are all blooming, it's going to be so pretty. It's going to be like white, buttery yellow, and purple. And we have some work to do here. I have some yarrow, a butterfly bush, garden phlox, a bunch of weeds, some salvia. I need to put some grasses back, but this bed will be happening soon because it's the first bed you see when you pull in the driveway, so I really should do something with it. And then this bed, I need to remove all the like daffodil and tulip foliage, but it has, I believe these are like the berry yarrows, so it has like a mixture of colors. Like some of them are red, but there's a lot of pinks and stuff. I have little hottie hydrangeas, 3 of them. And then this is the Twizzle Coral Penstemon back here that I also grew in my greenhouse. And there is some denim and lace Russian sage. So we're just waiting for everything to bulk up and fill in. This is the other box, and it actually has more color on it. So a lot more of the Superbenas are blooming. The geraniums have color. It's just, yeah, you can see the color scheme that I'm going for. Very pink and purple. And then right here, I used to plant this bed up for full sun, and everything did horribly. And then one year I was like, it's not full sun. Why are you planting it up for full sun? So I put shade plants in here. So I have some lungwort, some Jacob's ladder. I'm drawing a blank on what the other name of it is. Tiarellas, heucheras, hostas, and then there is one betony on the end. But when this fills in, the lungwort is needs cut back. Well, the bloom panicles need cut back. But this bed, once it fills in, is one of my favorites because the color scheme is very pretty. So I'll show you that later on. We have one more area that I want to show you guys. This is one of my newer projects that I've done. I moved the barrel from out front. I kept the lemon thread false cypress in the middle of it. And then I pulled some of these hostas out because they were smothering the astilbe. And now it's my mom's favorite spot, I think she said. And it's one of mine. I think it's a very pretty look. I love the barrel next to the brick. I just think it's like so pretty. And then this is the back side of the deck that has the swing. This is a very mature bed. But I did add last year a weigela right here. It just got finished blooming. I have some plumbago in here. I did add a couple daylilies because I have a friend that I work with. Her husband, his name's Lou. He supplies me with daylilies. There's like a house near him that has this thing every year where it's like a daylily show. He has like hundreds and hundreds in his garden. And I went with Lou last year, Lou and Jenny, to see the garden, and it was so pretty. But they're really kind, and they let you fill out a form of the ones that you like the most. And if they're dividing them that year, they'll give them to you. So I got a couple last year and I was really excited. But yeah, so, and then this is so close to being pretty. I wanted to show you why I love astilbe. I don't know what this one is called, but it's just so pretty. Even when it's not in bloom, I love the leaves. So let's go out to the greenhouse again. I want to show you my favorite hosta and we'll be done. So we're behind the raised bed area in the secret garden. And this is my favorite hosta. I don't know the name. But the reason I like it so much is because it has like the icy blue, but then it also has like the variegated leaf, but it's not yellow. I mean, it is like a very light yellow, but I like it a lot more than the ones that are like green and yellow, although I have those too. But this one just, it speaks to me, and I can't wait until this one gets big and beautiful. Well, we just heard the first rumble of thunder, so we're finishing just in time. It's 1:30, and I guess I'm gonna spend the rest of the day inside, which sometimes we need those days. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything like in particular that I missed that you've been wanting to like an update on, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to touch back on it next time we do a garden tour. Now that the garden is going to be looking different like every week, I think I'm going to try to do one at least once a month during the growing season so you guys can see just how pretty specifically the hydrangeas are. Like my hydrangea hedges, I'm very proud of, and then how I have them all interspersed. Anyway, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think they're pretty. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon. Keep learning and keep growing.